Today we're going to be focusing on the essential features and techniques in Pozotron. So we're just going to be going through the core functionality. If you have a particular use case or anything, we're happy to also schedule a follow-up demo to actually dive into your specific workflow or any questions. But if you have any questions while we go through it, feel free to put them in the Q&A box, and we'll get to those as well. So going to get started here. Just the agenda for today. First, we're going to start off with the script prep tools, then go through our proofing and reporting features, audio analysis, and then just some best practices to help you avoid some of the most common errors with Pozotron or issues you might see while using it, and leave some time at the end for some Q&A. So the script prep tools, these tools are designed to help you prepare for your project by looking up all the difficult to pronounce words, researching them for you, as well as organizing all the different character voices that are going to be in the project. So to get started, you'll log into Pozotron, you'll go to this pronunciation tab here. And the way this works, when you upload your script, Pozotron's going to actually analyze every single word in the script and produce a list for you of all the ones it thinks your average narrator might need help pronouncing. So it does that in a couple of ways, but to see that list, you're going to hit this Open Suggestions button. You'll see the list populate on the left-hand side here. And the sorts of words it's looking for are capitalized rare words that are found in the book, so proper nouns that are uncommon. It's going to produce a list of those. It's also going to just find generally complex words, and it determines if they're complex based off of a couple of things. First, it'll look at, we actually have a database of about 150,000 words that we had narrators go through line by line and decide if it was a complex word or simple. So any of those complex words are going to show up. And it also looks at the specific characters that are in the word. So based off of certain combinations of letters, it can tell if it's a difficult word. And also it'll catch any foreign words, so any words not in the primary language of your script. And so the workflow begins here. You'd open up the suggestions list to research a word. You just hit this Add to Research List button here. But before you do that, you'll want to choose which dictionary you'd like to find these pronunciations for. So we have a few options here, which start with Oxford US, Oxford Great Britain, Forvo, and Merriam-Webster. I'm actually going to leave it on Forvo for now. And so you just add this word to your research list. You'll see them populating on the right-hand side. If you already know a word, if you don't care about finding the pronunciation, you just go ahead and hit this Ignore button, and that will remove it from the list. You can also use the hotkeys R and I on your keyboard to just bounce through these.
So, and one thing also just to add there is, if Johnny, if you the three-dot menu beside Ignore, if you get a word, say for whatever reason you just always know the pronunciation of antipathies and you don't want it to be ever suggested, if you go Ignore all occurrences, and we're actually going to change in the next release, the wording there is going to change to make it a little more clear. Pozotron will never suggest antipathies in any project ever again for you.
Exactly, it's a great point. And sometimes, we kind of cast a wide net with this suggestions list. So there might be some words that you think are pretty simple. You never need to look up the pronunciation. Just go ahead and hit that, and it will kind of tailor this list to you for future projects. So thanks, Adam. Great feature there. And if you look now on the right-hand side, if it finds this word in Forvo or whatever dictionary that you've selected, so as soon as you add it to your research list, it checks Forvo or Merriam-Webster for a pronunciation. And you'll see the play button appear here for recorded pronunciations. So it actually pulls it from Forvo.
Algorithm.
So if I hit play there, it'll actually show you the pronunciations here. Forvo also is, it's crowdsourced. There's a ton of different pronunciations for words on there. By default, we take the highest rated one. But if you wanted to kind of cycle through these or get an alternate pronunciation, you could click this cloud button here. And if it has any additional pronunciations, they will appear here. So this is really useful if you're looking for an Australian pronunciation or English or if you just find a pretty poor one, you can switch it out for a better one. Now, a couple of ways to go about this. A lot of people who use the pronunciation guide, they go through the whole suggestions list here. You can also add any word you want using this add custom word field here. So if I can add, my name or any word that isn't on the suggestions list. And some people read through the script beforehand. If you produce your own list of words that way, if you read through it, you mark down all the words that you're going to want to research. You can then actually import a list of words. So just copy and paste all of those in here, one word per line, and it will automatically research them at once in whatever dictionary you have selected here. So it can save you a lot of time just getting started with that. Now you can also share this, like let's say you're going through the book, there's a bunch of words that maybe the author made up if it's a fantasy book or something like that. And if you need to share this list with anyone, you can use this share online packet button right here. This will actually produce a online web page that you can then go ahead and copy this URL, come over to a new tab. This produces a read-only version of the words on your list, so you can actually get someone to come in and confirm the correct pronunciations. But if you actually need them to come in and edit this, using this blue share button here, you can add anybody's email address and give them a role. So if you just want them to be able to access the pronunciation guide or any research, you can use this researcher button here. This way they can come into the list and actually add any pronunciations for words you're missing, and makes it easy to collaborate there. Adam, anything missing here on the pronunciation guide? Oh, you are muted.
I caught myself. No, I think you caught everything. Really, the goal is this to be a really collaborative tool. So your team, you, the author, whoever it is you're collaborating with, can work together on it. And we are working on ways to better share stuff between projects and make it automated. Did you show the audit feature as well? That would be about the only thing. The last modified. So if something goes wrong, you can click on the last. That's about the only other thing I'd say to add.
Yeah, great point. So there's actually a history for each one of these words here. So if you have somebody else coming in to add any pronunciations or make any changes, if you hit this little button, it's right here. I don't know if you saw that, it has the date of the last edit. If you click that, it'll actually show a history of this entire word. So you can see when the word was added to the list, where it got the pronunciation from, and if anybody makes any changes, their email will be listed here to show you, who made the change, when, and exactly what they did, so you can keep track of those words. Patty, yeah, that's a great suggestion. So she said she found it very helpful to know you can change the language for a Forvo lookup. So by default, it'll choose English if your book is in English, and you can get the alternative pronunciations using this cloud button. But you can also, when you select Forvo, you can change the language. So if you're looking for the Spanish pronunciation, German, French, any of these options here, you can choose them and it'll defaultly find that. For English, you can also choose a accent. So if you're doing some accent work, this can come in handy. And then you can also just click this little cloud button and find all the different pronunciations.
Yeah, and one other thing, if you're not sure, so a lot of books will have multiple languages in them, and you're really not sure what language it is, you can use the any language option there as well. And then in Spanish, we also provide there is Europe, like Spain Spanish and Castile. So Spain, yeah, the dialect they speak in Spain versus Latin American, you can also customize that as well. Just a question from Maliba: can I load an audio file for made-up words to pronunciation? Yes. So if you, Johnny, want to show that how you can upload, so if you click on the microphone, there is an upload button as well. So that there, if you have an existing audio file, you can upload that instead of recording it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a great point.
Question from Casey: did you say you could create a new list, like one based on names in a particular IP, add pronunciations, and save that as a new dictionary for future projects? Yes. So Johnny, Casey, we are going to go into the custom pronunciation guide feature, which, Casey, I believe you're with our good friends at Disney. we have a very custom workflow for you guys. And once that feature is fully rolled out, we'll be training all of you on that. But Johnny will give a quick tour of what that custom pronunciation dictionary looks like a bit later as well.
Yeah, happy to dive into that. It's a brand new feature. Very excited. We're still ironing out some things with it, but it should be a very powerful feature. But one thing I did not show you on this. So as you're going through your list, if a word isn't found in Forvo or whatever main dictionary you have, and I can't believe I forgot this. This is a main feature. But of course, you can edit the word yourself. You can record your own pronunciation for this word, and Pozotron will save it. So for amiable, amiable. Hit stop there, it records that. It shows you who exactly recorded it. You can also put in a phonetic spelling here of whatever you want, and it'll save that. Now, if a word isn't found and you actually want to research this online, find the correct find the correct pronunciation. Over on the right-hand side, we have links to not only the dictionaries that are kind of the main API connected dictionaries, but we also have other resources like OneLook, Youglish, and How'd You Say to find pronunciations for words. So if I just click once here, that'll bring me to a YouTube video where someone's saying the word anthropological, and I can copy this URL, listen to the pronunciation, find the correct one, and then edit the word. Can even upload the correct pronunciation from somewhere else, save the source right here, and that'll kind of help you in your research if it's not found in the main one. But just quickly, so since we're on it, the custom pronunciation dictionary, if you want to save a word and a pronunciation to your account, so if there's a particular IP with a lot of made up words, if you add them to pronunciation guide, you add the recording, the phonetic spelling and all that, this little plus button right here will just save this word to your account. Basically, it saves it to a custom dictionary. So if this word is found in future projects, it'll actually pull the pronunciation for this word from your custom dictionary instead of any of the main regular dictionaries that we have connected. So that's the custom pronunciation dictionary in a short snapshot. But I think that's everything for the pronunciation guide. Let's see here. So moving on to the character guide, and if you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the chat or the Q&A box. But the character guide works very similarly. So Pozotron is going to scan every word again in your scripts. It happens at the same time, but it's going to pull a list of character names instead of difficult to pronounce words. And by hitting the open suggestions, you can see this list of names. You can hover over the name to see up to 5 instances of this word in the script, so you can kind of see where it's used. Also, we'll show you the count, which is very applicable for characters. The more they're mentioned, the more of a main character it probably is. And it also shows you the first occurrence of this character's name. I'm just going to add a character up here in the custom field here. But what this tool is designed for is to keep all of your character data, your character voices. If you're doing a book with a lot of different voices, this tool helps you organize all of them. So once you add a character to your list, you can actually upload a photo. We had a customer who just needed a picture of Matthew McConaughey to get into a character voice. It's like our favorite story with this, so we actually implemented the feature to be able to upload a photo. Then you can also enter their character description. So he's a brilliant and stubborn detective, rude to others. Also their voice notes. So what do they sound like? Sherlock's got a deep baritone, speaks quickly, and has a London accent. And last but not least, this purple recording button here allows you to record up to 30 seconds of yourself speaking in this character's voice. So you can record yourself, or if you're using another voice for inspiration or something like that, you can actually upload audio here as well. And this saves for, really forever. So if you've got 30 different characters, you have all their data in here, and it helps you remain consistent throughout a series. And speaking of series, if you are working on a series of books, book 1, book 2, book 3, let's say you did book 1 a year ago and you're just getting started on book 2, you can actually transfer this research from this project to your new one, and Pozotron will keep any relevant characters or even your words on your pronunciation list. It'll pull all the ones that reappear in the second book to that project and automatically hide all the ones that didn't show up again. So if Sherlock's not in the second book, he'll be hidden automatically, but you'll still have the character voices and details of any ones that reappear. So it can really save you time instead of having to start from scratch again, especially if you did it a long time ago. So it's a very, very powerful tool there. Before I move on, Adam, did I forget anything here or anything else you want to add?
No, nothing really that I can say that you missed. Oh, I guess you can show the card view, which
Card view is handy.
yeah, which if you got a bunch, you can actually, we're working on it a little bit, but you can actually also export this into a PDF if you ever need to. Question from Renata: Can Pozotron detect when a character voice does not match in the book, i.e., the narrator used the wrong voice for the wrong character? No, not currently. Johnny will show a tool called Scan Occurrences that will allow you to. We do have a bit of a workaround to double check that with Scan Occurrences, which is currently used to. You could listen to all the correct pronunciations of Sherlock. However, we do have a workaround that mostly will work for. So you could enter, said Sherlock into, and then it'll play every mention of said Sherlock, and then it'll listen to a little bit of the audio before, which will give you the character voice that he or she has used. But we are working on a way to use Scan Occurrences to listen to all the lines of dialogue from a character to listen for consistency. AI, the reason why our position on AI is not fully replacing humans is AI is very good at black or white things. It's not as good at shades of gray. And things like character voices are very much shades of gray. So AI, in my opinion, will never be able to fully 100% say, this is not the same vocal sounds you made for in this line of dialogue versus the other. But we are building a way where you can scan for all of Sherlock's dialogue in Hound of the Baskervilles, for example, and listen to them all back to back to back to identify if there are any inconsistencies. So great question, Renata. It's not there yet, but it is in progress.
Great. Okay, thanks, Adam. So to show you the kind of the final step in script prep, if you do mark up your script at all the work you put into the pronunciation guide and the character guide can then be transferred to your script if you're currently, it only works if you are using a PDF script. But this export mark script button is right here. So if I export this, I can kind of tell it what I want it to do. If I want it to highlight every occurrence of this word, or just the first time, and kind of what data to include in this. But at a basic level, if I just hit that export mark script, it'll download a PDF. And this is the same PDF that I uploaded to my project. But now any occurrence of Sherlock, who's on my character guide, will be highlighted automatically. And if I hover over it, it'll actually show me the character description, the voice description as well. So as you're going through, if you have a question on who this character is, you just simply hover over it. You'll see those details. You can also have it include a link to the recording. So I didn't choose that, but it'll actually include a link so you can copy and paste that and hear the voice recording you did for Sherlock or for any word on your pronunciation guides. Let me see which ones I have on there. So if I find one of the words so abortive is also highlighted, and this will show the phonetic text. Now, Google Chrome, this doesn't work great. It kind of ruins the format. But if you have this, if you actually download the PDF and open it up in any PDF reader, that'll look totally fine. But a quick way to get reminded of how to say a particular word, and if you do mark up your script, just click of a button and you've got most of the work done. So that is the export mark script feature. All right. That's it for the script prep tools. We already talked about transfer research, great tool. I guess I could go into Scan Occurrences here, which is a part of the script prep tool package. So yeah, I'll go through that first. So Scan Occurrences is another tool It's really, really powerful. So any word on your pronunciation guide will automatically be pulled over here. But let's say for the example of character names, so I can add Sherlock in here as well, just to ensure that every single time I said Sherlock in my narration, I said it the correct way with the correct pronunciation. So when you add a word here, you'll see it on the list. You can hit this scan button, and it's going to show me every instance that I said the word
Chapter
Sherlock.
1.
It actually plays the audio, a short clip for each one of these. So I can listen to Sherlock back to back to back throughout the whole book and make sure that the pronunciation was consistent. If you need this tool, it can save you a ton of time. If you submit a project and every time you said the word neither, they wanted you to say neither, you now have a way of easily finding every single moment of that word. Hopefully you don't get those sorts of requests, but just in case. And so if you find any part of any particular clip here that has an issue, it's super easy to find it in your DAW. You just select whichever one's had a problem, whatever you need to re-record, and you can export the markers locations straight to your DAW, which I will show the process of importing DAW markers a little bit later in the proofing section. Or you can annotate them and it'll just mark them as pickups in Pozotron. So then they'll be with all of your other pickups. So really, really powerful tool. You can then also import a list just like the other tools. Chuck got a question. When using this tool, does the workflow work best if you do this chapter by chapter or all at once at the end once you've recorded the entire book? Really, it kind of depends on your workflow, but I would say probably at the end, once all of your recordings are there, is the time to use this because you can check everything you've done. You only need to do one check, and yeah, you'll find every occurrence throughout the whole book. So yeah, I'd probably say to use this at the end of your recording. Okay, moving on to the proofing section. So this is our most long-standing tool, Pozotron, kind of the bread and butter. So so we'll go through the whole process here, and I'm actually going to start from creating a project so we can show you the sensitivity settings as well. But if you've never made a project in Pozotron, if you're brand new, once you log in, this will be the home screen. You'll see this Create New Project button on the right-hand side. It's very simple. All we need is a script to get started. So you give it a title. You upload your script using this field here. You can drag and drop it or click here and find it. PDF, EPUB, or Word document are the acceptable formats. And that's all you need to create a project. But there are some additional settings, and I'm just going to show the sensitivity today. But the sensitivity is very applicable for certain projects. So let's say you're doing a fantasy book about pirates or something, and you're going to be speaking in a funny accent throughout the whole thing. Pozotron does do pretty well with accents, but for heavy accents, we recommend using like a relaxed setting. So this will turn down the amount of annotations that Pozotron suggests. So won't flag so many things and give you so many false positives if you do have a heavy accent there. You can also actually make it more sensitive in case you're doing a medical narration or something where you want to increase the sensitivity there. You have the option to do that as well. And the same thing for our noise detection. So Pozotron will also detect background noises like doors closing, dogs barking, anything that you don't want in your audio really. You can enable that or like completely or disable it completely, sorry, with this button. You can also change the sensitivity to make it a little bit more relaxed or extra sensitive. So this is the only time you can make changes to the sensitivity. Once the project's started, you can't change it, which is why I wanted to show you that first. Once you have your setting selected, you just hit this Create button. You'll see it populate down here. These are all my different projects. And when you open it up, you'll be brought to the proofing page first. So this will be blank. These are all the audio files that I've uploaded. But to get started, you just drag and drop your audio files here. It takes about 5-10 minutes, depending on how long your file is. And the max duration of a file that you can upload at once is 2 hours or 120 minutes. And that is for each individual file. So There's no limit to the total amount of audio, but per file, 2 hours. Once it gets past that, we start having some issues. So you want to drag and drop those audio files in. You'll see the status change as it goes through our pipeline. And when it is completed, you'll see the status show the amount of potential mistakes that Pozotron found. So in this case, there's 13. And to check out those particular annotations, we'll hit the open proofing button. So this is our proofing interface. Just to explain what you're looking at here, you're looking at the script in front of you. This is a modified script to show where potential mistakes exist. On the left-hand side, you'll see each one of these red underlines with a little bit more detail. Well, Pozotron is showing you kind of what happened with this particular mistake. You can navigate it very simply by clicking anywhere in the script. You'll see the audio track update to wherever you clicked. And you can also click any one of these mistakes to be brought right to it or a little bit before it so you can listen to it. So I'm just going to play this short section here and pause at each one of these mistakes to kind of show you how it works.
Pozotron Studio is an AI-powered audio production tool designed to ensure that performance always comes first. Our technology and tools exist to help teams of creative people and their technical support make the best performances more accurate, efficient, and in less time.
So it highlights each word as it narrates it, so it makes it easy to follow. If I wanted to skip ahead, I'm just going to click right here, and we'll go through this section.
Our audio proofing tool is designed to catch the key mistakes your narrator may make during narration, including words accidentally added into the script by the narrator.
So here the script said words added into the script. The narrator said words accidentally added into the script. So on the left-hand side, you'll actually see this annotation here. Pozotron has said word inserted accidentally. The first annotation, sorry to show you here, is always to ensure that your audio starts at the correct time. So it's kind of a friendly reminder there. I know with ACX, you have to start each chapter with chapter number and then chapter name. So this is just a quick reminder to make sure that's correct. So I'll hit OK there. For this is definitely a mistake. There was a word inserted. So you have three options. You can tell Pozotron this is a pickup, which means this is a major error. We need to fix it. If it's not an error, you can hit OK. Or if there's an actual typo in the script, Pozotron will expect you to say what's written. So those will be flagged and you can mark that as a typo. So I'm going to mark this as a pickup and move on to the next.
Words missed from the script. Of course.
So words missing, the narrator did not say these words. So Pozotron has flagged that as words missing. I'm going to mark that as a pickup as well.
Of course, it will find misperceptions and misspoken words.
It's very obvious mispronunciation there, but it'll catch, all of those mispronunciations. Now, quickly, just to show you this filter out button, it's the only option I didn't go over yet. So filter out, if Pozotron is flagging something that might recur throughout the whole book, maybe it's a very strange character name and Pozotron's expecting you to say it a certain way when it's actually pronounced a different way. You can hit this filter out button to ignore all of the annotations of that specific type throughout the whole project. So you don't need to go to see that every single time. Now there's a particular book, one of my favorite books, the main character's name is Quoth, but it's spelled Cvothe. It's just a very strange name. Pozotron might not get the correct pronunciation there, so you could filter out that particular annotation to ignore it throughout the whole book. But this is a pickup, so I'm going to mark it as so.
Pauses longer than 2 seconds. Noises.
Another thing with filter out, for pauses in particular, by default, Pozotron will flag any pause longer than 2 seconds. If you want to increase that threshold, so this pause, for example, was 2.4 seconds. If I hit the filter out button, it will ask me if I would like to automatically filter out all other pauses shorter than this one. So this basically increases the threshold to 2.4 seconds, and anything over that will still be flagged. Anything shorter will be ignored. So I'm going to go ahead and hit yes for that.
Noises, including audio distortions, synthetic sound issues, and natural noises like a dog barking. or a fire truck siren.
So we can see Pozotron detected these noises, first the clipping. It also will, and I probably should have warned anyone with a dog that there is going to be dogs barking in that portion of the audio. But here we can see the different noises. So in case you want to actually kind of separate out these annotations, maybe some of them you're going to fix with editing, whereas other ones you're going to fix by doing a pickup. For these, you can actually add a tag to it. So if you hit that little pencil button, you'll see all the different tags we have available. And this is really useful for separating your pickups afterwards. And I'll show you kind of what that looks like. But I can mark this as a pickup I'm going to be fixing with editing. So just wanted to make you aware of that. Or if you're working with other narrators, we have tags for narrator 1, narrator 2, a whole bunch of ways to organize it.
Just one thing on noise detection, Jack. I found the noise detector gives mostly false positives. We have the reason why this is still showing as in beta testing is basically noise detection is extremely difficult, and it really, really depends on your number of noise detection annotations. Really depends on a number of factors: your recording environment, sometimes your voice. So in the way our algorithm works, there's one narrator who gets, every time he says P, the letter P, he gets an annotation for plop for whatever reason. So there's a couple things. You can just turn off noise detection, or if it's on a project that you've already done, you can use filter out, and that will just ignore all the rest of the noises for the rest of the book. But for us to make our algorithm more accurate, essentially we are crowdsourcing corrections to our algorithm. So if you do get a consistent, every time the letter P is said, you get the annotation plop, click that report incorrect noise classification. And then you can actually, say this is actually a goose or something like that, not a dog. Or don't actually say that, Johnny, don't save that, because then what we do is we take all of these reports, and we're going to be running a massive retraining of our algorithm. We're going to improve the neural network, which in development speak is basically the back end and how we do it. But we're also going to be using all of this new data to better train and make it more accurate. So yeah, thanks for your feedback, Jack. We're aware of it. It's just the only solution is better architecture and then just a ton more data. And so it's a work in progress.
Definitely. And currently, if you want to still use noise detection, I would recommend, if you're getting a lot of false positives, to use the relaxed setting when you're creating the project, because that will still flag the very abrupt, very obvious sounds that you don't want in your audio. But it can definitely lower the amount of false positives if you're getting that. Also, if you see any other annotation in Pozotron if there's a false positive or anything like that, go ahead and tag us. There's a tag here for Pozotron. And we get, if you tag an annotation this, we are automatically notified of it, and this helps us train it to be more accurate. But that is very helpful feedback always. It helps us improve the whole product. How do I mark if something is missed by Pozotron? That is a great question, what I was getting into next. So certain things Pozotron won't catch. We already talked about the wrong character voice. If you say all the words correctly, Pozotron doesn't see an issue with that, and it won't flag that. And in that case, as you're listening through, you can just click and highlight any section. This little speech bubble will appear, and if you click that, you'll see you can create a custom annotation here. So this is really useful for wrong character voices or just directorial advice. If you want to say redo something with more emotion or change anything about your performance, you can leave notes right here for yourself. So wrong character voice, and hit save. That will save that manual annotation here. Does Pozotron flag items in brackets, stage direction? Adam, yeah.
I'm muted. So basically, yeah, Pozotron will mark any differences between what's written in your script and what you say. So for example, if between close to word perfect as possible, there is, says in a deep baritone there for the next as a stage direction, and you don't read that, yes, it'll mark that as missed words. That's just how our tool works. So
cool. Thank you, Adam. That is pretty much it for this. So actually, one other thing that can be helpful is the hotkeys. So if you come up here and see this little keyboard icon, click that, you'll see all the different hotkeys that are available. You can definitely just use a mouse to click everything. But if you kind of want to speed up your proofing, take some time to get used to these. You can use it your left hand to mark any annotation as okay, pick up, or filter something out just by hitting the corresponding key on the keyboard. Spacebar to play and pause the audio, and this can make it a lot faster for you. It also enables something we call speed mode. So let me actually uncheck all of these. But if this is a useful tip, if you just want to do a spot check for what Pozotron has found, if you're not looking for any other pickups or anything like that, you can use what we call speed mode. And the way it's really just using the features that are already there. We don't actually turn on a speed mode. But if you have an annotation selected on the left-hand side, you'll see the little yellow border. And with your left hand, if you hit OK, it will automatically move to the next pickup in the list. And I hit A for OK. So you can kind of use a combo of these hotkeys to quickly go through a whole chapter. And I'll just kind of show you what it looks like here.
Including words accidentally.
So I'm going to hit D, which marks that as a pickup, and it instantly moves to the next one. Then I'm going to hit spacebar again to listen.
From the script, of course.
You can see that's a pickup. Move to the next one.
Of course, it will find misperceptions seconds.
So this allows you to bounce between all of the annotations that Pozotron has highlighted for you. And it really enables you to go through a whole chapter in just a couple of minutes. But then again, you're not listening to the whole chapter. So this is just for doing a spot check, and that's it. Oh, it looks like we have some questions coming in.
Questions. First, Aliba, if Pozotron misses a word that was in the script but not in the recording, how can you mark that? So again, I'm going to try and answer this, but maybe I'm misunderstanding your question. So again, you're just going to click and highlight. Johnny can show that. So let's say, for example, you don't say missed, so you just say words from the script there, and you don't say, and for some reason Pozotron missed the fact that you didn't say the word missed. I actually used a less confusing example. But you just click and highlight, click that speech bubble, and then you can do in the tags, you could do M, you could do missing, and then click there. If you want to notify Pozotron that we missed that, then you can tag at Pozotron and we get a notification there. It is very, 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 very rare that Pozotron will actually not catch a missed word.
I was just about to say that it should catch. That's one of the main mistakes that are very obvious to Pozotron. So shouldn't run into that. But if you do, definitely tag at Pozotron there so we can take a look at what happened there. All right, another question. Is there any future roadmap where something is discovered in the audio, such as pauses, clicks, etc., where a user can open up an online DAW and just remove the issue on the spot, then jump back to Pozotron for the rest of the review?
Yes, eventually the end goal of Pozotron is for everything. We've launched like a pickup recording tool where eventually you find all your pickups in Pozotron, you record them in Pozotron, click a button, and it'll switch them. Same thing for things like noises. That is quite a long way away, but that is the end goal of our tool.
Thanks, Adam.
Victor, I've had problems with old man voices and gravelly voice and breaths, saying they are mistakes. So let's take old man voices and gravelly voices. What I guess without knowing exactly what. So first I would say if you could email us, Victor, with a project, email to help@pozotron.com with a URL to your project, as well as some details, in chapter 4 at 4 minutes and 22 seconds. That would allow us to look into it. Unfortunately, sometimes when you do heavily accented or dialect or sometimes the more acting you put onto something, the more Pozotron may mishear something. Also, some people just have voices, unfortunately, where AI just, with people's voices, our tool will just give more annotations. But I would say if you can send us some specific details by email, we can look into it and then suggest some custom solutions for you, for sure.
Yes,
Hopefully
thanks. Thanks for your question, Victor. Yeah, if you ever have questions, this Get Help button here is always here, and we are super happy to look into particular projects and recommend solutions for your specific issue. We pride ourselves on doing the best support we possibly can, so we usually respond very quickly and are always happy to dive deeply into whatever issue you're having. But moving on, looks like we're running kind of going slow, I guess, running out of time. Exporting. Okay, so that is, so after you've gone through, and I'm just going to come in here and mark all of these so that they're done. But once you've gone through and proofed a whole chapter or a whole project, there's some really useful export features that Pozotron has. If you are working on a project yourself, and so you've done your proofing, now you're ready to go in and fix any of these mistakes, you're going to want to use this DAW marker export. And what this will do is actually show you where each one of these, anything you marked a pickup as a pickup, it's going to show you exactly where that is in your audio file. So you can go ahead and make corrections. So when you hit that, you'll see this screen. You'll want to choose the DAW that you're using. We offer pretty much every option here. If what you use is not on the list, let us know. I'm going to choose Audacity here. You can also customize the report. So if you're only looking for a particular tag, so if anything you marked just editing or with any of the other tags, you can separate your list here. I'm going to include all pickups, and then you can change the timestamps relative to the start of each chapter or relative to the start of the whole book. It'll just change the timestamps accordingly. I'm going to go ahead and hit export here. This will download a file, and if I open up Audacity, going to open the chapter that I just proofed, which is right here. So this is the raw audio, and then if I go ahead and import the file that I just downloaded from Pozotron, we'll see it actually puts in another track, and it's got exactly the anything that I marked as a pickup. It's put a marker in here so I can see exactly where that is. It's still got the short description, and I can go ahead and start making my corrections. Now, one additional tip that David Lawrence actually put me onto is when you are, at least in Audacity, when you're making changes here, recommend turning on this sync lock tracks, because that, if I delete anything from this particular track, it'll have both tracks stay in sync so that the markers don't then, point to the wrong place in the audio file if you make any changes. So that's just an extra tip there. Now, the other export options are the pickup packets. So if you're working with a publisher or anyone else using Pozotron, maybe they've proofed it for you, you'll likely get a report that looks like this, which is the Pozotron pickup packet. This is a snapshot of every pickup that was marked. It's got all of the details you need. It's got the script right here, the error highlighted and underlined, the timestamp, as well as the recording right here. So you can listen back to this recording, and you can even download the audio if you'd like. Also, if you receive this, you're able to export the DAW markers, which I just showed you for Audacity. You can also download the DAW markers here if you've just received a pickup packet, and it's the same workflow of importing it. Aaron, glad to hear that. That's awesome. And getting a question from Casey. We joined a couple of minutes after the hour. Did we miss the importing of scripts?
That's when you create a new project, Casey. I'm going to reach out to Dana, and I'll book a custom demo for all the new Disney users. So don't worry about that. But we'll also send a recording. But Johnny can show very quickly how to import a script when you create a new project. Yep,
it's super simple. So the first thing you'll do when creating a project is from the homepage, hitting this Create New Project button. And this field here, after you give it a title, you just drag and drop your script in here as long as it's a PDF, EPUB, or Word document. That will work perfectly. Okay, gonna move along. If you have any more questions, keep dropping them, but we are running out of time. So audio analysis is next. So this is a great tool for checking the specifications of your audio files to make sure they're up to the standards of a distributor you're working with, like ACX, or maybe a publisher has their own specific specifications. It's a very quick check. Let me go into my project here. Audio analysis. To navigate there, you just hit that button up at the top. You can either drag and drop your mastered audio files in here. So after you've done all of your pickup recordings and edited the files and mastered them, you can drag and drop them in here, or you can add any audio files from your project just by hitting this Analyze Chapters button. That'll bring them over here. Takes like a minute, probably less, to analyze them. But once they have been analyzed, you just hit the Show Analysis button, and it'll show you if there's any issues with the audio file you uploaded against whatever preset you've selected. So it should have showed you that first. You can select whatever preset you want to check this file against. We have some main ones like ACX, Audiobooks Unleashed, Authors Republic, Findaway Voices. These are all standard. You can also create your own custom ones by hitting this Add Preset button. But this is just a great final check to make sure file duration, sample rate, sample peak, true peak, all of these settings are up to par. It'll show you what's expected out of them and what they actually are. And coming soon are solutions on the right-hand side. So we really want to add in solutions for any of these failing specifications, some tricks to help you get the file up to par. All right, that's it for audio analysis. Best practices. So here's some general tips. So probably the most common, a lot less common now, but the most common issue that we hear about in Pozotron support is there's an issue with the PDF where Pozotron isn't able to understand the script. Now, this is just a thing with PDFs. Unfortunately, they have some strange formatting and oftentimes ligatures, which are when two characters are bleeding into each other. There's no like white space around a T and an I, but they're actually merged together in the PDF. And if you try to convert this PDF to a Word document or anything like that, you'll see Word has the same problem we do, where we aren't able to parse it correctly. So what I'd recommend, if you're uploading a PDF, the easiest way to tell if this is going to work with Pozotron or not is actually just opening up the PDF, which I can open up this one. This will work correctly, but if I go to any section of this and I just copy and paste a section from the PDF directly to Notepad or Microsoft Word, this came through looking beautiful and readable, so we can tell that this is going to work with Pozotron. If it's not, you'll see immediately that there's a mistake here. There'll be random symbols, characters, and this is just the fastest way to ensure that it's going to work. If you do run into any problems with a PDF, let us know. We've got some solutions. We can teach you how to fix this yourself, or if it's under a deadline, I can fix it for you. But that is probably the most common frustration, is just getting PDFs to work properly with Pozotron. So another check that I'd recommend is when you're starting a project with a PDF, or any project really, just upload one chapter file first. So instead of dragging and dropping, the whole book in at once when you created the project, just do one. Make sure that Pozotron's read it correctly. It's marked everything as normal before you go ahead and upload the rest of your documents. It'll save you time in the long run for sure. Anything to add there, Adam? Cool. So moving on. Oh.
No, not at all.
Okay, great. So moving on, if you do need any help, Casey, I'll got another question. Does Pozotron have an audio to text feature?
So that's actually, we do transcribe your audio. There's currently no way to export that because it's just a big block of text, and we are working a way to format that. That's going to be built into a number of features moving forward. But we are actually launching in our next software release the ability to export text or audio to text time code information. So it'll actually, in a CSV file, allow you to export all of the words in your audio, as well as the start and end times of every word, every pause, all that kind of stuff. So if that is of use, that'll be coming up in one of the next releases, and we'll be building off of that. but there will be an ability in future to export a full transcript of your audio files.
Very excited for that. That'll be cool. Okay, so the last couple of things here before we end off is just how to get in contact with us. So we are very accessible. There's a few ways to reach out to Pozotron support. First, you can go to support.pozotron.com. That has a support article knowledge base where pretty much every feature of Pozotron has an explanation of how to use it or how to set it up, along with video tutorials. If there's anything missing there, let me know. It's my project and my baby to make sure everything is up to date there. We also have YouTube tutorials just under Pozotron for, again, pretty much every feature. And if you do need to just contact us, you do not need to be shy. If you just want to have us help you find a solution quickly, that's what we're here for. This Get Help button right here. This is the best way to get in contact with us because it provides automatically some of the details we need, like what project you're having the issue on, what kind of issue it is, and the details here. You can also upload any screenshots of a particular error you're getting. But this is the best way to get in contact with us if you're having an issue. Also, if you just have suggestions, don't be shy about using this here. Just put in details of, hey, this part of it is frustrating, or a feature like this would be really time saving. Like that's what we would love to hear. A lot of our really awesome features came from customers requesting them. So we like to think we have good ideas, but you guys have better ideas usually. So we want to hear it. The other ways to contact us is just emailing help@Pozotron or hello@Pozotron. Both of those will go to our whole team. Yeah, and we'd love to hear from you, so don't be shy. That is it. We made it 2 minutes to spare. So if there are any last minute questions, happy to answer them now. Also, Adam, would you mind putting in the round robin link to the chat? So in case you guys want to meet one-on-one to dive into your particular workflow, we are always happy to do that free of charge. Adam's going to put in a link.
I am, for some unknown reason, I'm only able to email or message hosts and panelists and Johnny. But if you go to pozotron.com/contact, there's a book a demo link, or also inside of your Pozotron account, Johnny. If you go into your Pozotron account and click on go to your My Projects page.
Oh, My Projects right here.
Yeah, you can click book a video demo, and that will book with whoever's available. So, and Lindsay just sent it as well.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, that would be great. Yeah, love to meet with you. But if no more questions, thank you all for joining. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any future questions, anything else we can help with, definitely let us know. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Bye, everyone.
Glad to hear it, Patty. Thanks. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.